All right, let's start with the reminder that in my email signature there is a link to a video on how to practice your lessons. So basically what we discussed last night, that's what that video goes into detail about. And of course, how to practice is always up at the top of your Guitar Pro files. So what I'm going to do here is demonstrate how all this stuff should sound at some different speeds. For you, keep following that metronome method. Start at 60, play it correctly once, go up to 65. Play it correctly once, go up 5. Just keep doing that for the time limit or until you maxed out, not mixed, maxed. And then for all three, or numbers 1, 2, and 3, if you get to 240 beats per minute before next week, go ahead and send in an early video. Speaking of next week, so there's a couple ways we can go about reviewing what you've done. And it really doesn't matter to me, whatever you feel comfortable with, I'm good. So we can just review stuff at the beginning of the lesson. I'll ask you how fast you got with each thing, and depending on how fast you got, I will ask you to work it up close to your max, but not at the max, just close to it. Sometimes if you get really fast, I'll ask you to go up in 20 beat per minute increments. Sometimes it'll be 10. If it didn't go that fast, I'll just ask you to go up in 5s, and we'll treat it like a practice session anyway. The other thing, you can make a video beforehand. A lot of students like to do that because they feel less pressure. So yes, if we do it live, there is more pressure. But if you want to record stuff, what I ask is, usually the best thing to do, just record the last practice session that you did, minus the repeats. You don't need to record the repeats for the video. So for example, let's say like number 1 here, if you don't get to the 240 early, so the last practice session you plan on doing before our lesson, just start recording the whole thing. And then, just record throughout that 10 minutes, or if you actually do hit 240 in less than 10 minutes, awesome. And then just send that over, and that'll be good. So yeah, basically record your stuff and send it over, or we'll do it in the middle of or at the beginning of the lesson. Either way is good with me, but we do have to, gotta have you demonstrate everything each time, so this way I know how it's going, and that'll tell me what we need to do next. Alright, so I'm going to count off 4, so you know when I'm going to start playing, so you can follow along at different speeds here. Great thing to do here, about like saying stuff that you play. So with this, there's a lot of space going from one chord to the next in various places here. So what I like to do on this is count all 4 beats. This helps me remember how long things are ringing out. So that's what I recommend for this. Say all the beat numbers as you go. That would be very helpful to make sure everything rings out appropriately. You know exactly what beat you're on. So here we go. Count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I just remembered you're down tuned. Let me grab another guitar real quick. Sorry. Habits. I'm going to be in the same tuning you are. Make this easy. So yeah, here's that baritone I mentioned. I think I'm in C. Let me check real quick. It might be C sharp. Ooh, oh, yep. It's a little sharp. I think I have 12 gauge strings on these two. So yeah, just because the scale length, the length of the neck is longer, it really helps hold the tension of those the low notes. And the 7-string that I have, I don't know why more 7-strings don't do this. It's multi-scale. So you see the low B, or the low strings, have a longer neck than the higher pitched strings. I want to get a 6-string like this. I think that'd be pretty damn cool. I bet everything would sound and feel fantastic. Anyway. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, 120 coming up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 180. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, 240. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. On to number 2. So yes, work it up without the repeats. Add in those repeats after the 10 minutes or after you've maxed out. So here we go, 60 beats per minute. Remember, from 60 to at least 120. Say out loud the rhythm you are playing. If you can keep saying it past 120, even better. But make that a goal, from 60 to at least 120. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 120. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 180. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 240. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeats. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I tend to do at the end of these, or end of demonstrating one of these things that have repeats, I'll just do all 4. Let's do that again. Every now and then, quite often my brain starts drifting in the middle of those repeats. I'm like, did I do 3? Did I do 4? Am I about to do 5? Let's see if I can actually count this time. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. It is fun playing with it so down-tuned, isn't it? Okay. One thing I did here yesterday, we were kind of pressing pressed for time and didn't want to give too much new things to think about. But I was hearing some muting issue, like when you're on the E5 and the F5 here, because that low, the low E string was ringing out there. So there's a couple things to do here. What I like to do is I have my thumb over the top of the guitar neck, so it's barely touching that bottom string. So like when you're here on that F5, if you accidentally strum the low E, you're not going to hear it ring out. So just barely touching it there. Very good thing to do. Some chords we'll get to, like having big stretches and whatnot, like maybe something like this. The index finger is up underneath that low string, so the very tip of the index finger is touching it. That's another way of muting out that low string. So when we are going to be getting more into lead and whatnot, single note playing, the index finger does a ton of muting stuff. Basically, besides the low E string, like on the A, D, G, B, and high E, your index finger, the tip, is always up underneath the next string. So when you're on the high E, your index finger is up under the B string. When you're on the B string, your index finger is up under the G string, and so on. And I do have a video out on muting that talks about that stuff. I'll try and remember to link to it in the email that this video was sent to. If I forget, you just look up Mile High Shred muting. That should bring it up. Or just remind me, hey, you forgot to put it in the email. Alright, anyway, let's get to number 3 here. 60 beats per minute. Let's go back down. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4, and 1. Guess who didn't turn off his phone? There. Alright. 120. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4, and 1, 2, 4, and 1, and 2. 180. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Alright. 240. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Repeats. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That was wrong. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. The thing we didn't have time to go over, something to practice these diminished chords with. Basically, we have 2 keys up here. Got your key of A minor or C major, as well as the key of E minor or G major. So we're going to do a lot of stuff with this shape and this shape. So basically, we have a diminished chord starting on the A string, and then another one starting on the E string. Let me switch over here to a clean sound. So I got the fingers written above to tell you how I'm building this. So the B diminished there, first finger on the second fret, middle finger on the third fret, fourth finger on the fourth fret, ring finger on the third. Since you like harmonic minor, here's a cool thing. You can take a diminished chord, move it up a minor third for 3 frets, up or down anywhere, and you're in harmonic minor. So yeah, you have a B diminished, a D diminished, an F diminished, a G sharp diminished, all in A harmonic minor. Alright, so playing this, no real speed that you need to get. You can just stay at 60, that's fine. I like you to get one solid take each day just to make sure you're getting used to the chord and you just get it committed to memory. That's the main thing. So a lot of times diminished chords can be used in a passing sense. Basically you're kind of linking one chord to the next. Most people don't like the way diminished chords sound, but given the stuff that you listen to, you might like it. You might be one of the rare ones who are like, yeah, that's an awesome chord. Or maybe not. So let's get all the way back down to 60 so we demonstrate how these should go. One thing I find helpful with this, or playing arpeggios in this way. So we're going to hold the chord shape and hear one note at a time ringing out. But instead of going from the A minor into the B diminished by jumping into the whole thing, a lot of times you might find it easier, and I certainly do, just build it one string at a time. So like you pick in here, and you pick the next string to the next, now you got everything down. And that gives you the sound that you want. It's also a lot easier to kind of piece it all together just by putting down one finger at a time. So, again, if you're having a hard time jumping straight into the entire chord while doing this, just do one finger at a time, but just make sure you leave it down after you've put it down. Alright, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 4. Repeats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and done. And I see I forgot a chord name. Multiple chord names here. Didn't quite finish this. I'll send over the update. Alright, so there's one key, and then we'll got the other key on the same page. I didn't label this. Shame on me. And actually, let's change this one a little bit to, here, pause that. Let's go all the way up. Boom, let's end it like that. Okay. So with this one, you got your F diminished, or I'm sorry, F sharp diminished. A lot of times, in fact, almost every time people see this chord, when I give it to them, they bar it. They'll bar with the index finger and play it this way. But see here, I have all 4 fingers being used, because we do not want to bar that. There's a good reason why. Because if you bar it, what ends up happening almost every time when someone does it, the note on the B string, they end up playing that. That note is not part of the chord. And it's not part of the key either. So we don't want that. That's gotta go. So do it like this. First finger on the second fret, third finger, third fret, fourth finger on the fourth, second finger on the second fret. You have a much better chance of controlling everything and only hearing what you want to hear. So that's why we don't bar it. We don't want to run the risk of hitting unwanted notes. All right, let's play this guy. 60. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 4 and 1. There we go. So yeah, no real speed on this one, just one good solid take with both keys each day. I think that'll be enough. Of course, the first day will be the most difficult. And then after that, it's just like maintenance, maintenance, maintenance. All right, that is that. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I will see you again next week.